Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me, Neeraj?
Yes, Mohit, I can hear you. Mohit, I just created one new group, but I was not able to see where to download that Excel sheet format.
Okay. So you created a static group or dynamic?
I created dynamic.
Okay.
For static, I was looking from which location you downloaded that Excel sheet format.
Okay. Let me show you that. So much stuff for me. You have created a dynamic group. The IT team. Now, in order to configure a static group, you have to click on this button,
Mhm. I clicked,
and
but I
then
was not okay from here. Download a blank. Okay, got it.
okay.
Mhm.
So yeah,
And we have
that's
to
that's
click
how.
there. We have to click the option RBP only.
RBP only where?
No,
No,
where
no, no.
I, yes.
Yeah,
This,
you don't have to. You don't have to indicate this. So basically, if this basically indicates that it's only accessible by admins. Okay, but this is not required. I mean, we don't have to just mark this as RPO.
if I will click, what will happen in this option?
But nothing. It just basically it's access. This identifies that this RVP only means that you have designed this for consultants. This group for consultants. That's the only thing.
Okay.
It's not for normal end users or normal HRs. It's not created for them basically. So
Okay.
let's say, for example, EC admin. The EC admin is something for consultants, right? So I will mark this as RVP only. That's it.
Okay.
You have configured the static group. Okay. Yeah. So this was our static group. Now the basically advantage of a static group is that uh, this group is created for your VPs or MDs, where there is no there is no frequent changes to the groups. Because if you want to add someone to this user, you have to come here and manually just click on add user and then just search the user and add. That's the only way by which you can add the user here. And if you want to remove someone, then just click and then just delete. So it's a manual maintenance. That's why these static groups are majorly created where there is a requirement, where less, you know, frequent changes are expected from permission group. In that case, we configure that as a static.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now, this was all about the first step, which is permission group. Now let's move on to second step, which is creating a permission role. Now, in order to create a permission role, the action which is used is manage permission roles. The action which is used is manage permission roles. And let's go into the system and let's search for manage permission roles. So manage permission role contains all the permission of different modules. So this is the place where we create a role which will have all the different access or different permissions. Okay. Now, in order to create a role, we have to click on this create new button here. and then just provide the role name. So let's say we can provide the role name as Germany HR Access. So this is the role name which I have entered here, which is Germany HR Access or Admin Access, something like that. Okay. Now here we need to select what permissions we are going to add in this specific role. So we have this permission button here. Click on this permission button. You will see this pop-up of permission settings, which will majorly have two categories. One is user permission and another is administrator permission. User permission is mostly used for end users, your employees, your manager, your HRs. For them, if you want to grant them any access, we use this user permission category. And then administrator permission is majorly for us consultants, where we have different permissions required to do configuration. Okay, so the permission is divided into two aspects. Now, let's say if I want to add certain permission in this, let's say I want to add permission of performing, let's say, termination. Now, how do we add that? So for every permission, there will be a different category. You see, for all the modules, it is defined. For goals, if you want to provide permission, you will go here and then provide permission by this check boxes. Similarly, if you want to provide any learning related access or recruiting related access, those all needs to be done from this section. But for EC related, you will see specifically EC mentioned. Okay. And then there are certain categories where it's not mentioned EC, but still we use those in EC. ठीक है. So ये जब हम लोग जैसे जैसे हम लोग काम करेंगे, we have to provide permission. तो हम लोग इसको देखते रहेंगे, but all the permission resides here. ठीक है. और ये याद रखना, it's very challenging कि कौन सी permission किस कैटेगरी में है. इसको याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है basically, because we have a documentation. So if we want to grant access, we can simply check their documentation, come here and then provide the access. For example, I want to
documentation means it will be provided from SAP or from a client side.
No, the content which I am providing, that will have the permissions.
Okay.
So अगर हम कोई नया टॉपिक करते हैं and we need to grant access before configuration, then in those there will be steps which will say that from here you need to grant access first.
Okay.
For example, if I want to grant access to perform hiring, then in that case there is a category, specific category to it, which is an administrator permission. So I have to go here under manage hires, and then from here I need to grant access to add new user. So this is the permission which will grant access of add new employee. ठीक है. तो मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, इस रोल में ये परमिशन मैं ऐड कर रहा हूँ. I can add multiple permissions like rehire, inactive, add contingent. So let's say for example, just for this example, I have added these three permissions. Okay, and then click done. So you see these three permissions I have selected. But who will access these three actions? Who can do add new user? Who can do rehire inactive user? Who can add contingent worker? That I need to assign in the third step, which is assign your permission group. हमने क्या किया, पहले बनाया जिसमें एम्प्लॉयज डाले. दूसरा हमने एक रोल बनाया जिसमें हमने परमिशन डाली, डिफरेंट परमिशन. ठीक है. एंड नाउ वी आर गोइंग टू असाइन अ ग्रुप टू दिस स्पेसिफिक रोल. तो हमने क्या करा, हमने अभी एक ग्रुप बनाया था. सो वी विल क्लिक ऑन दिस ऐड बटन, परमिशन ग्रुप, click select, and then search your group which we created.
I think that was Germany.
Correct. Germany.
HR
This
debt.
one, I guess. Oh, this one.
Okay.
HR debt. Okay. This one, I guess. And then we can assign multiple groups to a same role as well. Okay. To a single role, we can assign multiple. I can even assign the one which you created, which is new identity. So I have assigned 3 groups and click done. So you will see, and then again click done. So you will see that 3 groups, Germany HR department, Germany HR admin static, and new IT admin groups has been assigned. And the people who are in these groups can access these 3 things,
Okay.
can perform. That's how we configure our role-based permission. Now, once we assign the group, permission are also assigned. We can always come to this permission button and add permission or remove permission. We can always do that based on requirement. So let's say I want to add terminate permission. Termination, view and edit access, both the access I have granted, and then click done. And then once we assign the group, scroll to the bottom and click save changes. We have to save changes in order to save our role and group assignment.
Okay.
And once we save it, our role will be reflected here. Germany HR access. Now, people who are in these groups, HR department, static, and new IT team, these people can access the permissions which are defined in HR access. And we have to test that as well. Okay, so let's test it out. These 3 permissions we have granted. We can go to, let's say, HR department group. And then we have this mic mold. So mic mold should have access to this role, right? And we can check this from group as well. So if you click here, grant permission roles, you will see that this group is assigned to this role. Okay, that's how. But again, we have to, just to make sure what we will do, we will proxy as mic mode and try to do these actions. Okay, so let's just and proxy as mic mode.
Proxy.
We are proxying because we want to check if Mike got the access to do these things or not.
Okay.
We have granted, but again, we have to do some sort of testing. That's what. So I have proxied as Mike mode. I mean, you don't have to test it out because this definitely works. That's how it has been working. But just to show you that if you want to test any specific permission, this is the way to just proxy and then just test. So I want to check if Mike mode can access add new user or add new employee action. So if I type here add new employee, yes, he can access. He can also access add contingent worker. Okay, and that's what we added.
Can you
We
check
have
if,
inactive employee.
can you check if he has access for manage permission group once?
For this user.
Yes.
So this user need not to have manage permission group access. Okay, so let's say there is a so we as a consultant, we create permission group and we assign permission, but end user, the employee, the HR, they will not have access to this RBP piece. They will not create any group or assign any role. So there could be a case where we have to assign permission, but they might not have access to role-based permission. If I try to search manage permission, see, it doesn't show. Yeah, he doesn't have access to role-based permission. So if someone who doesn't have access, if you try to search, he'll not be able to see that action. That's how you know that he doesn't have access. No results. Okay. So we have tested and mic mold is able to access. If mic mold is able to access, then the people who are assigned in those groups can perform these 3 activities. Okay. Now let's say I want to remove add new user access from this permission. So how would I do? Click on permission, go back to that same category, which is manage hires. You can always use Control F as well. manage hires, remove that permission, and then click done, save changes. Changes are saved. Now, if you go back again as Mike mode, you will see Mike is now not able to hire anyone because we have removed the permission. If I try to search add new employee, doesn't show. It shows only add contingent worker. So this is the way of testing it. Now there is another way by which we can make sure that if that person got access or not. Okay, we have assigned, we have created a role, we have assigned the groups, but in order to test if person have what permission from which role, there is another action for it. और ये issue हम लोगों को बहुत commonly आते हैं in production system that हम लोग grant करते हैं access but user come back and say he doesn't have access yet. ठीक है, ये बहुत common issues है. For that, in order to debug these things, we have an action by the name of view user permission. So view user permission is an action by which we can view permission of any user we want in this system. Let's say Mike मोल्ड की परमिशन देखनी है मुझे कि उसको क्या क्या एक्सेस है और किस किस रोल से उसको एक्सेस है. I can just simply search his name. नाम क्या था? Mike. Right. How did I search from here?
Mike mode.
डेविड मोल्ड आ गया, माइक मोल्ड कहाँ गया? है ना सिस्टम में. एक्टिव है. इसका यूजर नेम इज डी मोल्ड. ओके, वो डी मोल्ड ही तो था. इसका किसी ने नाम देखो चेंज कर रखा है, डेविड मोल्ड. रियल नेम इज डेविड मोल्ड बट आई गेस प्रोफाइल में इसका माइक मोल्ड कर रखा है. ठीक है, सही होगा. So I want to check what access this person have. I can just simply search by their first name, last name, or username, and this will show the summary of all the permissions and the role from which these permissions are granted. For example, he can log in into SuccessFactors system from these roles: employee self-service and employee search and login. ये दो रोल इसको असाइन है. दो रोल पे सेम परमिशन असाइन हो सकती है. That's possible. Company info access, he can search user in search bar from these 3 different roles. ठीक है, हम लोगों ने भी इसको एक्सेस दिया contingent worker हायर करने का. So if I search that permission here, so he can add contingent worker from which role? Germany HR access, which we granted. So that's how we can check if permission is granted or not.
Okay.
ये debugging में काफी हेल्प करता है और काफी यूज करते हैं हम लोग इसको। अगर हमें परमिशन कंपेयर करनी हो, जैसे रिक्वेस्ट ऐसे आती है कि दो एचआर हैं and both are in same department but one can access another cannot, so we compare those two permission और फिर we figure out कि कहाँ पे कौन सी permission missing है and then we grant that permission. So those kind of scenario come up. Okay, so that's how we implement role-based permission in our system. Simple steps: create a group, create a role, and then assign permission. ये सारे modules में same approach will be followed. EC में once we start EC, there is a little bit of complexity, another scenario which we use for role-based permission, and that's what we are going to see once we start EC. That is something related to grant group and target group. वो आगे चल के आएगा, but अभी फिलहाल के लिए this is the approach for role-based permission.
So
Any questions?
it is always required to follow all three steps, or sometimes we just need to create a permission group, or sometimes just need to create a permission role.
बट एक्चुअली अगर आप ग्रुप बनाओगे नहीं और रोल बनाओगे तो वो रोल को एक्सेस कौन करेगा? मतलब ये तीनों स्टेप्स साइड बाय साइड चलते हैं, मतलब आप इसमें से कोई भी एक स्किप नहीं कर सकते। आपने ग्रुप बनाया बट यू हैवंट क्रिएटेड रोल, तो वो ग्रुप आपका सिंपली पड़ा रहेगा ऐसे, इट्स ऑफ नो यूज, है ना, अनटिल एंड अनलेस यू असाइन परमिशन टू इट। अब जैसे मैं आपको एग्जांपल दिखाता हूँ, जैसे हम लोगों ने अभी एक रोल बनाया विच इज जर्मनी एचआर एक्सेस। इफ आई रिमूव ऑल द ग्रुप्स फ्रॉम दैट रोल, so if अभी क्या है, स्टेटस इज एक्टिव, राइट? नाउ इफ आई गो इनटू दिस रोल and then just click here and then just you can either you can remove or you can make inactive. Let's say I removed and then save changes. So abhi kya hai, this is a standalone permission role which I created. There is no group assigned to it, so you see it automatically becomes inactive. तो inactive क्यों हो गया? Because there is no group attached to it. तो ये किसी काम का नहीं रहा फिर। So basically अगर हमें RPP implement करना है तो ये तीनों स्टेप्स को हम लोगों को साथ में इम्प्लीमेंट करना होता है, then only you can or that person can access whom you are granting the access. ठीक है?
And if I have to define RBP, then in one or two line,
Sorry?
how can we define RBP? Suppose if someone asks what is RBP, then
So RBP is basically, RBP is used to provide permission to different user in SuccessFactors. It is as simple as this.
okay.
Without permission, you will not be able to do anything in SuccessFactors. अगर आपको permission नहीं है, so let's say we want to check your permission कि आपको कौन-कौन सा access है. If I type your username here and then click view permission, you have admin level of access, you have consultant level of access. तो आपको बहुत ज़्यादा permissions assigned हो to do different things from different roles. तो आपको user permission login करने की permission and then report you can access and then compensation module का भी access है आपको। कौन से रोल से? ज्यादातर आपको सिस्टम एडमिन रोल से एक्सेस। ये सिस्टम एडमिन का एक्सेस नॉर्मल एम्प्लॉयज मैनेजर्स को नहीं होता, ये हमारे लिए स्पेसिफिकली क्रिएटेड किया गया रोल। तो अगर हम कोई कस्टमाइजेशन करेंगे आगे, कस्टम फील्ड बनाई, नहीं कस्टम ऑब्जेक्ट बनाया, तो हमें सिस्टम एडमिन रोल में जाके खुद को परमिशन देनी पड़ेगी, देन ओनली वी कैन सी दोस चेंजेस एंड टेस्ट इट आउट। ठीक है? सिस्टम एडमिन इज रोल फॉर अस, और जो भी हम चेंजेस करेंगे वी हैव टू ग्रांट परमिशन टू आवरसेल्व्स इन ऑर्डर टू टेस्ट एंड सी द चेंजेस। ठीक है? तो इसमें आप देखोगे बहुत सारी परमिशन है, मतलब इट हैज एवरीथिंग, एवरी मॉड्यूल, every little permission is granted to system admin role. Okay. So role is everything basically. If you don't have access, you cannot perform any action in SuccessFactors. जो भी दिख रहा है ना, it's all because of role.
Okay.
ठीक है? So that's important. And another thing, so this was all about RBP. I mean, that's how we implement for all the modules. EC में थोड़ा सा इसको और हम elaborated way में समझेंगे. The next thing which we have, I guess, in Unit 2 is proxy management. So proxy management is a place from where we can assign, grant access to different users. So let's say I want to assign proxy. Again, वो manager वाला example. If manager one is on leave and we want to grant access. So who will act as proxy? So let's say you will act as proxy. I will assign your name. In whose absence? In my absence. So who is the account holder? So let's say I am the account holder and I am going on leave. If I enter someone's name, uh, my user. If name doesn't pop up, then you have to do this. Abhishek का नाम है उसका. Right? Okay, it's your email. I guess वो admin को शायद proxy access नहीं देगा. So let's say Neeraj will proxy Tessa in her absence. So what we need to do is we need to assign Neeraj the proxy access of Tessa. The account holder is Tessa and who will proxy? Neeraj will proxy. किस module को you will access? Recruiting, learning, presentation, admin या फिर all. So that needs to be selected. And then कब से कब तक? Let's say from 25th 12 बजे AM 12:01 okay, and then end will be 29th 9 PM and then save and then okay. So now Neeraj can proxy Tessa and perform all the tasks. Anyhow, you have full access, so you can anyhow proxy. But normal जो employees होंगे या managers होंगे, this is the process which needs to be followed to grant them proxy access. Now let's say we don't know कि नीरज किस किस को proxy कर सकता है. ठीक है? Neeraj could proxy multiple users. So let's say if I want to check that, I can use this lookup existing assignment, and here I can search by proxy. If I put Neeraj here, I want to check who all people Neeraj can proxy. Search for account holders, and this will show Tessa Walker's name because we have just assigned. Oh, Abhishek was already assigned to you. That's why you are not able to add. So Abhishek and Tessa, both these accounts can be proxied by you. That's how we can see it. And we can delete as well. I mean, if I want to delete Abhishek and then click delete, we can remove the proxy access from here as well. Okay. That's what we can do from proxy management. इसका एक्सेस हम एक HR admin को दे के रखते हैं, and then he or she can manage this proxy access within managers or HR team. कोई छुट्टी पे जा रहा है तो भी okay. So this was about RBP and
If you will give this permission to HR in a company, then whatever problem will come from employee side or manager side, they will directly contact to that HR only. They will not contact
exactly.
us.
No, they won't contact us because this is kind of a admin related work. Its configuration is not required there. So we'll just provide them the KT, knowledge transfer, and then they can take over.
Okay, got it.
All right, so this was about RBP and proxy management.
One more question, Mohit. So suppose these tools we need to remember, like manage permission group, create permission
Yes.
role, or just putting a word, a similar word, we can find out, right?
Yeah. You can find that. I mean, if you type only permission, you don't know full name, but you know some keyword. You can enter and then matching results will show. From there, you can figure out, okay, groups are used to create group, roles are created to create roles with permissions and view user. So, I mean, some sort of linking definitely needs to be happen. If you do not even remember any keyword, then definitely it's hard to search a keyword.
Okay.
So basically, these actions are very important for us because every action is used for different configuration.
So suppose if I attend an interview, they are going to ask us a tool's name for as per the
Yes.
requirement, or they will ask only algorithm how to provide the permission, create a permission
So
rule.
see, they will simply ask, let's say they want to ask you the process of RBP. So in that case, you need to provide them details in such a way that you have logged in into system and you are doing those steps. So let's say they ask that, can you give us an overview of RBP? How do we set up RBP in SuccessFactors? In that case, you will tell that RBP are used to provide, permissions to different users in the system, and they have different level of access. And in order to configure RBP, first we have to create a permission group from manage permission groups. And then we need to create a permission role with manage permission role. And we need to define permissions which are required. It could be user, it could be administrative permission. And once we create a permission role, then we have to assign group to that permission role. And then once we save changes, the people in that permission group will have access to those roles. So you see what I have just said, it's nothing, it's just the navigation of whole RBP setup. That's how we have to tell them.
That means along with a step-by-step algorithm, we have to tell them which tools we are using.
Exactly. That way they'll know that you have done hands-on. Because if you don't know action, they're not going to consider at all. Because actions is everything here in SuccessFactors.
Yes, got it.
All right. So I guess this is about it for today. Tomorrow, at what time you are available tomorrow?
Anytime tomorrow I'm free.
Okay. So how about 12 in the noon?
12 noon, yeah, fine.
Okay.
12 no,
So
because उस टाइम ना थोड़ा सफाई वाले आते हैं रूम पे तो
अच्छा तो 11 a.m.
हाँ 11 AM is good.
ठीक है. So let's connect till 11 a.m. tomorrow.
ठीक है.
Yeah. All right then. Thanks, Neeraj.
Thank you. Bye.